Hi everybody, it's Claire from Art Journal Love with another project for graphics. You can head to the Grafix website where you can find lots more tips, tricks and ideas for using Grafix products. In this project I've used the black craft plastic, the wet media duralar, some artist tack and some clear shrink film to create my fun page in my little handmade journal, which I made using Grafix things too. So here's a little sneak peek at the finished page, sort of, like a little teaser. So here's a look at what the products look like, and there's also the artist tack that you'll see again in a minute. That's the black craft plastic there, a bit of a mouthful. There we go. It doesn't come with that gold on, that's a piece that I've been playing with, stamping some ink onto. So I'm going to use an image from a collage soup journal. This is the little journal that I've made. It's got lots of secret projects in there that I can't show you just yet. I'm going to use this image from one of the collage soup books called Journal Girly. I love the collage soup images. I'm going to use the one on the left, and to stick that onto the craft plastic I'm going to use some artist tack. So this is an adhesive sheet that's made up of lots and lots of little tiny adhesive dots. So when I stick my image onto there, it'll pick up the adhesive dots and then I can stick that straight onto my journal page. No need for messing about with any glue. So you just peel the sheet back, stick your image on, and then I've pulled the cover back over just so that I'm not attaching all the other sticky dots to my fingers and sticking myself to everything. Cutting the image down, and then I'm going to remove that top piece, and then I'm just going to trim around the face just so that I can have a little bit of the background showing on my journal page. So the journal that I'm working in is one that was shared in a previous project with Grafix. It's a 6-inch square. It's a lovely little size to play in, and I'm adding more and more things into it all the time. So this is a stencil I designed for Natalie Scrapbooking, and here I'm just popping a little bit of colour onto there. So this is a Dina Wakley media paint. It's a heavy body acrylic, and that's in a sort of mustard colour. And then I'm going to also use a little bit of raspberry in a second as well, just to bring a little bit of difference in the colour that's coming through onto that background. So I find when I'm working on a page like this, it's good to just keep popping your image back on, just to kind of check that what you're doing isn't detracting from your image, or is maybe not enough. You need to put a bit more on. I did give that a little dry with a heat tool just very quickly, just to make sure that I wasn't going to be sticking my hand and smudging it. I'm then going in with a text stamp and some white ink, just to bring a little bit of contrast to that background. So I'm not really going to be doing much more on this page apart from sticking the image on. As you can see, the image doesn't quite touch the top and bottom, so I did just trim a little bit off. Then I'm grabbing the wet media duralar. I've got one little piece left in here, as you can see, and I'm going to use the Tim Holtz tiny attacher to just staple it right to the edge, and then I'm going to cut it down so it's the same size as my page. And then I've got like an extra page on my removable journal page. I always push down the back of my staples because I have caught myself on them before and it can come a bit keen. So little tips worth doing. The next pen that you're going to see me use is from Jane Davenport, and it's a License to Quill pen. It's beautiful. It's a brush tip. When it's dry, it's permanent. It's a lovely, lovely pen to use. And I just thought it'd be really fun to have a play just tracing over the face onto the wet media duralar. This is a great way to practice drawing faces. It's a great way to train your hand to help with those muscle memory of placements of different parts on the face. Yeah, and it's super easy because you can see the work's already done. I'm literally just tracing over the image, and I'm using this brush pen to do it. I'm pressing on quite lightly where I want thinner lines, and just going in, you know, with a bit more pressure where I want the lines to be a bit thicker. I'm not going to add in every single detail. I'm just going in for some of them. So an idea of some eyebrows, and then I end up putting some kind of tendrils of hair falling down as well, just to soften those kind of edges. But then when you lift it off and you can see what you've drawn, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, and I know it's tracing, but you know, you've still traced that, you've still done it. So it's a great way to have a bit of fun and practice using faces in your journaling. So next I'm going to just add a couple of catch lights into the eyes. This is where the face will really start to come alive. Just adding those little touches of light in the eyes, it brings them to life. I love doing that bit. And then a couple more little highlights on the nose and the lips, and maybe a little bit on the forehead. Can't remember whether I did that. And just keep having a look at what you've done. It's really cool. Of course, I'm going to draw the glasses in, but you could also go in with paint and add some paint over the face as well if you wanted to, and decorate it yourself. Because the wet media duralar, of course, will accept any wet media. It is a fabulous product, and it makes using it in your art journal so versatile. So then I wanted some words. So I've grabbed a piece, oh my gosh, a piece of the clear shrink film, and I'm going to write some words on here. I'm going straight in and just writing them in using the same pen because I know it's going to dry permanent. I'm going to write "Now I see clearly," a bit of a play on words about kind of, you know, when you see things clearly, not just because you're wearing glasses, but because you understand a situation better. And I'm making sure that I join all these letters together so that I can then, when I shrink it, it will all kind of stay as one piece. So once I've written those words in, I'm then going to cut it out, and then it will get a little bit of colour. So to add the colour, I'm just using some paint pens. These are from Life of Colour, but any paint pen is going to work. These are acrylic paint pens. I'm just popping a bit of colour on some of the letters just to kind of make that stand out when I pop it onto my background. Now, of course, you can pop shrink film into the oven on a low heat setting. It does give you instructions on the packaging. I'm too lazy to walk all the way to the oven, and I don't want to go and put it on just for this, so I am using my heat tool. It was a little bit fiddly. There was one bit where the end of the word clearly kind of bent over, but I managed to rescue it and it was perfectly fine. So it is okay to use your heat tool to shrink the shrink film. It does work. So then I decided to add some words onto the front. I found this quote that I stamped out onto craft card, which is "You matter." And then I'm going to lift the transparency sheet up and glue using Dina Wakley Media glue. I'm going to glue that little phrase onto that back page. I'm just kind of checking that it's going to look okay. And I'm really loving this layered page that I've created using the Grafix Wet Media Duralar. It's a really fun way to have a go at drawing faces, particularly if you're not mega confident with your own drawing. But it's a bit of fun, just adding a little bit more shading, just using a scribble stick in a nice dark colour, just to bring a bit more shadow onto that right hand side of the face. And then it's going to get popped into my little handmade journal as another fun addition to my collection of things in this journal using Grafix Products. There she is, and you can see how that kind of comes together. I love how that works, so give it a go. Grab yourself some wet media duralar and have a go adding it to your journal page. Don't forget, there's lots more information on the Grafix website. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed watching this project come to life, and I hope to see you again soon.